Hello, everybody. I am delighted to have with me here today Beatrice Rana, pianist. Welcome, Beatrice.
Hello, thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us. Beatrice and her sister Ludovica have recently recorded a program which we will be showing on April 15th, and she has very graciously agreed to have this brief conversation about the program and making it together. So thank you. You weren't able to come to St. Paul this time, but you have been to St. Paul before. I heard you play at the Chopin Society a few years ago.
Yes, I think that was 4 years ago, and I was playing the Goldberg variations, and it was a part of a very nice tour. So I remember that I was visiting many cities in the US, but I remember very well the welcome that I had in St. Paul, and I absolutely loved it. I have really nice memories from that time, and that's why I was so looking forward to coming back. And I was so disappointed when I, of course, understood the reasons why I wouldn't come. I think that now, rather than having touring soloists, we have touring audiences because we get the audience to tour in the native places of the artist. So I think it's quite an experience.
I have to tell you just briefly that after that performance of the Goldberg Variations, unusually for me, I left the hall as quickly as I could, and because I had this amazing sound world in my head, and I didn't want to lose it, and I didn't want to talk to anybody after the concert. I just wanted to walk home, and even though it was a cold day, I think you probably remember, I walked home. I live about a half a mile from the venue, and the music was in my head the whole way home, and I still remember that and treasure that. So
Yeah, it's always very strange feeling after the Goldberg. I remember very well that sometimes I even mind the applause after the variations because it's playing the Goldberg is really like a journey, and at the very end you realize you're at the same starting point, but everything looks so different, and you are so different from the moment you started to play those variations. So sometimes really the applause hurts a little bit, that kind of silence. Of course it's very rewarding. But I I quite understand what you said.
yeah, especially that piece, and if I may say, the way you played it just left me in that spiritual space that I just didn't want to lose as long as possible.
Thank you.
This program that you're doing with your sister Ludovica, what would you like to tell the audience about this program? How you put it together, or some special moments in it?
Well, as I said, now that we have touring audiences, I took this concert as an opportunity to bring people to my hometown and to to get a bit closer to people because with all these distanced events, it's very difficult to have that intimacy that we get thanks to the live concerts. And in a way, I miss very much the human contact. And that's why I wanted to show a human aspect of my life that happens to be also an aspect that I bring on stage, which is my musical family. Because I come from a family of musicians. My parents are pianists, and my sister is cellist, and we very often play together. And not only we wanted to share this really this atmosphere of house music, but we chose also a program that represents the attitude of playing house music. And that's why we chose these two musical families that are the Mendelssohns and the Schumanns, and to recreate those soirées musicales, those evenings that they all shared together, where they were playing music and they were presenting their own compositions, and very often they even presented their own composition, changing instruments. So, for instance. You will hear, for example, the three romances by Schumann, the Opus 94, which were originally written for the oboe and later played for violin, but also played on the cello. So this was really a habit of those times. So in a way, we thought that it would be just nice to present um, some musical families and to get a feeling of intimacy and warmth, even in such detached times. And I think also it was a very good opportunity to present two female composers, which are very dear to our hearts. Now I'm talking also for Ludovica because she is not in Rome as I am. So she couldn't make this call, but I think I can talk also for her. We are really close to these women composers, and especially to the figure of Fanny Mendelssohn, because in a way, Clara Schumann was recognized during her lifetime because she was a great concert pianist. She was a touring artist, and in a way, she shared her talents with audiences. But in the case of Fanny Mendelssohn, this was really unfortunate because she had an amazing talent as a composer, and she could never express it because, of course, at that time a woman couldn't publish any kind of music, and the only way that she got her music known was through the name of his brother when she published some romances under Felix's name. And nowadays, this looks absolutely insane and unfair. And that's why we decided really to open the concert with the composition of Fanny Mendelssohn, which, for instance, happens to be a wonderful page of music. This Fantasy in G minor that really doesn't um, need anything else from her brother.
That's great. No, it's a wonderful program. It looks on paper as well put together, and I know it will sound wonderful when we hear it. I did read in your biography that you studied composition yourself. Do you write at the moment? Do you have time to write?
Well, I'm not as talented as Fanny Mendelssohn. I enjoyed very much studying composition because I love harmony, I love counterpoint, and somehow I wanted to go deeper into this kind of studies. Uh, I think that I lack the best talent for a composer, which is creativity. I'm not a creative composer. I know very well how to develop harmonies, how to develop melodies, but I don't have that magic touch of a real composer. But I think that studying composition helped me very much as a pianist and as an interpreter because um, to be yourself in the mood of writing something, for example, to write fugues. Writing fugues is absolutely challenging, and you understand so much more about Bach's music when you know what's at the basis of his composition. So to get the perspective of a composer, this was very helpful, and um, Also, another thing is that I got the opportunity to study very deeply Renaissance counterpoint, and this is something that uh, I think everyone should study because it's a word that not every classical musician knows well, and that goes quite against our concept of modern music. And for modern, I mean from the 17th century, which is more harmony based. The Renaissance counterpoint is a world of freedom and of creativity and of dignity of each line. And really exploring this world helped me incredibly a lot for my life as a pianist.
Wonderful. You and Ludovica are recording this program for us in an abbey in Lecce. Is that correct?
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about the venue that we will see you in.
I personally chose this venue because I think it's a jewel, a hidden jewel of my region. I come from Lecce, which is in Puglia, which is at the very bottom of Italy, in the high hill of the Boot. And this abbey is just surrounded by olive trees and just nature. And I thought that the choice of this place would be also very significant for the time being because this abbey, it's called Abbazia di Santa Maria di Cerrate. This abbey is a Catholic abbey, but it has signs of so many cultures and so many religions. And it's very interesting because nowadays we are all very we are categorized. We need to belong to Catholic or Muslim or whatever, or not even believing in anything. But this abbey that was built in the Middle Age shows such a more open mind because Lecce, my hometown, is just in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea. So it is. It was always a welcoming place for so many cultures, from ancient Greek to the Muslims to the African people. And at that time, of course, there was not such a big knowledge of writings or of cultures. So, for example, in this church, you can see really writings from the Islamic world, which nowadays would be just unthinkable. Or there is a strong influence from the Orthodox world. So, in a way, I thought that this uh, integration, this multicultural world was a good sign and a good symbol for the time being, which is sometimes difficult.
Yeah, and I imagine it has a good acoustic as well for cello and
Oh,
piano.
yes, that's the first thing.
I when your manager sent me the venue, I looked it up online, Googled it, and the pictures I found are just stunning. So I'm sure.
Yes, and if I don't talk too long, the other thing, the other strong point of this place is the stone, because I come from Lecce and there is this stone that is called Pietra Leccese, so from Lecce, which is a yellow stone, and it's it gives this very magical light that you will get from the video, because when we filmed the concert, it was a gorgeous day. So I think that you can get the real beauty of the place.
Wonderful. And I believe you have a chamber music festival that you have at Lecce. Do you run every year? Is that correct?
Yes, it's a chamber music festival that takes place in July. And for instance, last year we organized in Cerrate. So that's why also it's a place of my heart. Every year the festival changes places because I want to take the festival also as an opportunity to know a little bit more the territory. And this festival is a way to just put together my two biggest passions that are music and my home, my native region, which I love very much. And chamber music also is such an important aspect of my nature of musician. And of course, nowadays it's very difficult to talk about my normal life, but let's say my pre-COVID life was very soloist centered with a lot of tours and not so much time to meet with other friends, musicians, and just to have fun together. So that's why I created this festival to have a kind of Île Joyeuse, a happy island of music and friendship, and have really that week where when we can just all meet and rehearse all day or go to the beach and absolutely relaxed time, but also very focused on the music and to have the time to rehearse to get to know each other better and eventually to go on stage as real chamber music partners.
You mentioned pre-COVID times, and then how life has changed recently. When I spoke with you a couple of weeks ago when we were planning this program, you had just, I think, come back from Spain and given. Did you say it was the first live in front of an audience performance for nearly a year that you'd given? Have you had any more opportunities, or how are things in Europe at the moment?
Well, last summer, so summer 2020, we had a feeling that things would go back to kind of normality because I had the chance to play for an audience. Of course, a socially distanced audience, but still a real audience with, let's say, 30% capacity in the halls. So that was tough, but still very good because after months of silence, it was nice to get finally with people and to play for an audience. But then, of course, at the end of October, the situation just got so much worse. So all the concert halls closed again. And well, the situation in Europe, as you know, is not any better than anywhere else. Besides countries like Spain or Luxembourg that just decided not to close again the concert halls. And in a way, I think that this is a bit more fair because what I saw in my experience in the concert halls is that there are really good restrictions and there are regulations that are very strongly respected. So I would say that theaters are quite the safest place in the world nowadays. Also because I mean, cultural life must be a good aspect of our life as well as a necessity of our human being. Um so to think to live without culture, without going to a museum or without going to an opera or to a concert, for me is just unthinkable. And I suffer a lot, not only as a performing musician, but as a listener. And that's why I find it unfair to have theaters that are closed and then going to the supermarket, which is open and without many restrictions as one could expect. So now I don't want to get politically involved and to fight against something that, of course, we all know that is dangerous. I completely understand the reasons why everyone is doing this way. It's just very painful to go to play for a concert without an audience, and then to take a plane which is completely full.
Yeah.
I think we are living in crazy times where the priority of our sociality is completely messed up, and in a way, culture is seen as entertainment and not as a strong necessity of our souls.
I think there are many music lovers here and around the world who would agree with you. So beautifully said. There will be another time when we will be able to invite you here and have you come to the Twin Cities and perform as part of a performance with audience. But we are very, very grateful to you and Ludovica for recording a program that we'll be able to show. That's on April 15th. And it'll be available for nearly 4 weeks, I think, on our website. But for now, Beatrice, I want to thank you for spending this time with me.
Yes, but let me say something. I also
Yes,
wanted
yes,
to thank you for the opportunity to play with my sister, to play this wonderful program, because it was a wonderful opportunity for us to learn and play this wonderful music, and the opportunity to make this concert happen against all the difficulties, because we all know how difficult it is to commit now with concerts and with everything, with all these restrictions. And it's wonderful to be able to share also a part of my life with all of you. So I think that next time when we all will all meet in person, you will all know also a bit more about my life and about my region eventually.
absolutely. Well, the pleasure is all ours. Thank you very much.
Thank you.